Okay, I kind of liked how the last segment went. So let's see if we can bring another element to this conversation. I was talking about how I spent a brief portion of time with the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District. Um, it's a Cook County government organization. I was an assistant civil engineer, basically in the construction department, and we had two projects. Both of them involved sewers. So it was kind of I guess it was kind of a sick joke, putting me in a sewer inspection job with a North Indian boss and then a guy without a certification to be my immediate superior. That just kind of those kind of situations, along with this a particular living situation, screams, just kind of I can fuck with you because I can type of a narrative. And there's a YouTube video for TMM, so it's not like I have to put this in evidence anywhere. This is just my opinion on the matter. So, like I said, my mother died July 19th, 2023, 2 months after I founded Hero by Texas movement. And I said many times before that it was, I didn't watch the Air movie when it first came out, but then I just randomly watched it when I was at the house one day, and I recognized how many kind of jabs it was taking at um, my efforts in my career. And I don't really have main character syndrome. Those of you that know me, I just kind of live my life and try to not bother people. But people are really triggered by my existence and by the things that Texas movement can do for people. And I was just watching a Fox News program here talking about gifted and talented programs and this and that, and then people really have to make a point to say we've got to get the wokeness out of things. Um, Only Jewish people talk about wokeness when it comes to black related things. Everything that you have in this country is stolen from African Americans and African American culture. The very fact that we are dealing with an eviction process here that Chicago and Cook County have been just kind of pillaged with for decades is because the Polish and Jewish community in the Chicagoland area treats African Americans and, as a result, other minorities as products like cattle. The real estate on the south and west side of Chicago is perpetually dilapidated because of foreign investors. Law enforcement essentially acts like slave catchers to put people through the jail systems. They close down elementary schools. They remove trades from schools to put people in these positions of desperation. You do not need to be an exceptionally genius level talent in order to live in this country. And as we approach the elections, whatever good it does at a local level, it needs to be changed. Now, as far as what I've done in my part of it, I have been filing every complaint possible that I could file. We were speaking about Dan Pogorzelski before with the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District and the Commissioner Board. I filed an IDFPR complaint against MWRD. Number one, for the amount of precision Sam Kaufman expected from me each and every day, along with punctuality and precision of daily reporting, pales in comparison to how off my final check was. Why should there be a discrepancy in my W-2 if precision is your standard? Secondly, why should an engineering department push through to the contractor a glass grid material to line a cylinder when it was designed for flat asphalt, when the contractor said that many times? And why isn't there a way for engineers on the ground level and contractors to bring that up to the higher ups? Why do people that spent their life in engineering have to report to political authorities when dealing with serious engineering matters that deal with the safety of Cook County residents? And you're going to sit here and talk to me about how the precision of my paperwork and my court filings is not up to the standard? And if I respond in any other way besides this precise language, which is not even up to par, to my standard, while I'm being starved, while the undergirding elements of, save the safety net that this so-called progressive state is supposed to have, SNAP benefits being redetermined precisely when I'm filing documents to save my own life, Chase business bank accounts being closed off, One United and GN bank accounts being closed, Chime ATM deposits being shorted so that I can't get the full cash amount to open other bank accounts. And if I'm so unqualified, why am I doing multi-million-dollar payouts within, 120 days of my hiring? I had just finished my 40 hours of OSHA training and just began getting familiar with the project, which is a $50 million project. So I'm responsible for site inspections 2 to 3 times a day, staying late for concrete pours, daily reports, being on Teams meetings where you claim diversity is so important to you, but you treat the diversity coordinator like an afterthought in the meeting itself, waiting for her to stop talking. You don't think I noticed that? If diversity is so important to you, why can't I talk to my own supervisor about something that I'm uncomfortable with? If diversity is so important to you, why can't you give me the audio transcript of the telephone hearing for my unemployment appeal? Why can't you admit that it was a constructive discharge rather than a voluntary withdrawal? Why doesn't Samuel Kaufman have to admit to his fault in the matter as an unlicensed associate engineer, making $90,000 plus of Cook County's money, when a vast part of the population of contractors that he has to deal with are of minority status? And you want to talk about who's woke and who's not woke. Homosexuality and Jewishness is not the black experience. And you don't get to withhold things that are due to every citizen of this country simply because you have a little bit more money and you've put people of your preference in positions of authority in the clerk's office and in the judge's seat. And you don't get to use law enforcement and the fire department and so-called court orders for wellness checks to intimidate people when you know you are in the wrong. I'm going to read to you a little bit of my 90-day review. Assistant Civil Engineer, Construction Field Services Section. Sanjay Goel is a manager. October 10th was the hiring date. Behaviors, competencies, cooperation, collaboration, and communication. Employee demonstrates ability to consistently maintain cordial, positive, and productive relationships. Collaborates with internal and external contacts. Supports success of unit or organization. Effectively delivers information in person, in writing, or with digital media. Work output and accountability. Employee works with precision and accuracy. Takes responsibility for actions and performance. Achieves consistent, effective results and maintains acceptable productivity standards. If it was good enough for a licensed professional engineer, my productivity level, why wasn't it good enough for Sam Kaufman, a 30-year-old associate unlicensed engineer? What makes white approval more important than licensed Indian approval? I notice a great similarity between this and my recent response from the Higher Learning Commission about Judson University's complete innocence in the erasure of my parents' legacy when they were, in fact, the first two husband and wife Fulbright Award winners in that school's history. And I can't find it on the Judson website. I had to go and find it on the Daily Herald website. You people are not slick. And just because there's a little Polish or Jewish blackmail that puts people in charge in political positions, that doesn't mean that we have to live with it forever. Your time is coming to an end. This is not how you run a bathroom, let alone a city or state. Since you want me interacting with feces so much. Problem solving, decision making, and judgment. Employee demonstrates the ability to predict, define, and recognize problems. The employee demonstrates the ability to make appropriate decisions within their scope of authority. During this review period, Alexander has been tasked with construction inspection, preparation of progress reports, maintenance of construction field records, and field coordination for the engineering department contracts 06363SR, Upper Des Plaines Intercepting Sewer, 14B Rehabilitation. His work on record keeping, such as preparing daily reports and progress photographs, is satisfactory. Oh yeah, that's right. I was doing photography as well. And was certified as a first responder. Alexander is learning district procedures, including general specifications for sewers, general specifications for concrete testing methods, manhole rehabilitation by using cementitious material, sewer rehabilitation by using CIPP cast-in-place pipe, and geopolymer installation and other contract documents within the first 100 days. On top of that, I need to be doing multi-million-dollar payouts and dealing with racism and prejudice. Why? Because your parents were techs in the 70s? I was learning this on the fly while training at Premier Fitness Solutions. At least 15 clients a week. Building my own brand, capitalism, which is as anti-woke as you can get, Jews. You notice I'm not using the N-word. Woke is just your word for blackness you don't like. But I would not be here if it were not for African American progress in this country. And the fact that you have the audacity to blend white feminism and homosexuality and Jewish nonsense and lies with the legitimate grievances African Americans have in this country, you will not win. And you're going to need more than 4 sheriffs with guns and tasers to stop me from telling the truth. You thought you could stop my mother from telling the truth. And there is an IDFPR complaint on Richard Park of St. Joseph Hospital. And Christopher Beck was sending Elgin police over here because I was calling out his improper use of the FOIA standard. And surprise, surprise, when we got the FOIA, the FBI and the Elgin Police Department were working together at the behest of Troy Zimmerman. Alexander adheres to all district safety rules and procedures. Alexander is demonstrating that he can perform the duties required of the assistant civil engineer position. Overall rating meets standards. December 18th, 2024. I want my status publicly noted, not as a voluntary withdrawal, but as a constructive discharge because of a hostile work environment and because of improper procedural activity by Metropolitan Water Reclamation District. And I want to be formally recognized as a whistleblower that has been retaliated against by multiple avenues. More to come soon.